We've been talking in this series about the four cornerstones for strategic living. We've dealt with personal healing, personal discovery. Most recently, we've talked about personal development, and now we're to the fourth cornerstone, personal deployment. You know, I'm so proud to meet folks that serve in the military. In fact, I go to airports a lot, and nearly every time I'm at the airport, I see our servicemen and women boarding airplanes, flying somewhere, going off to do what it is they do. And it really does make me proud of our country, and it makes me proud of those young men and young women. It wasn't too long ago that my wife and I were at an airport and we saw a lot of recently graduated children from high school, that is. And they had all enrolled in the military, and they were with their commanding officer at the airport about to fly off to their first boot camp. And my wife and I both got teary-eyed because my daughter just graduated, and I thought, man, these kids are going off. That could be my daughter. Why am I talking about military? When you talk about personal deployment, the term makes me think of the military because these folks go off to training camp. They are broken many times. They're physically challenged. They are mentally challenged. Then they begin to hone in on various skill sets that they'll need to perform their duties in the military. And this goes on for months, sometimes even years, depending on the specialty. And then they're waiting now. They're trained, they're developed, they're prepared, but they're waiting. What are they waiting for? They're waiting to be deployed. Because quite frankly, until they're deployed, until they're in the place where their skills, their talents, their abilities, their passions, and their preparation can be applied, well, really, they're just very well prepared people standing around. And so here's the piece. For you, as you go through personal healing, discovery, and development, at some point you have to get in the game. At some point, you have to deploy. You have to take on the responsibility of the assignment that God has given you. At some point, you got to go to the front line. You got to get in the fray. You got to get in the mix and do the deal for which you were created. Another great metaphor or analogy here is sports. I mean, imagine the kids who work out at 6 a.m. every morning preparing for football season. They're doing push-ups, sit-ups, sprints, crunches. They're doing all this. They're practicing plays. They're watching film. They do all this stuff for hours on end, days and days and days and weeks and weeks. At some point, it's game time, and they suit up. They put on their pads. They put on their jersey. They put on their helmet, their shoes, their cleats. And then the coach calls their number 42, get in the game. And now you got to be willing to get out there and get smacked by some defensive end. You got to be willing to take a hit. You got to be willing to now execute the thing that you were trained to do. Here's the thing, everybody. Deployment is where the money is. Deployment is where the satisfaction is. Deployment is where the fulfillment is. It's when you get in the game. It's when you do that business. It's when you launch that business, that ministry, that idea, write that book, do that deal. It's when you do that you are fulfilled. You've accomplished what you set out to do in the very beginning. All the goals, all the dreams, all the passions, all the desires, they come to fulfillment because why? You decided to get off the sideline and get in the game. That's what deployment's about. And I want to challenge you. Maybe you're very well prepared. Maybe you've been going through this process with us as we've talked about these steps. Don't hesitate. Pull the trigger. Do the deal. Get in the game, start that business, engage the destiny that is on your life. Well, I'm excited to share with you the opportunity of diving even deeper in your personal journey toward building the strategic life you were intended to live. We've been talking about the four cornerstones for strategic living around here for a very long time, and now you can access an online video course and the four cornerstones for strategic living book for yourself. If you were intrigued by this topic, if you felt as though you needed someone to come alongside of you and help you to walk out the process of personal healing, personal discovery, personal development and personal deployment, I'm inviting you to visit our website at brianholmes.com/4CS, like 4 cornerstones, but 4CS. You'll find information there about how you can enroll in a course of study or in reading the book and take your life and your leadership to the next level. I invite you personally right now to go with me on this journey. Let's build a strategic, a powerful, and a meaningful life together.